Good morning and welcome back to Homeschooling Through High School. Today I'm going to share with you my ninth grader's curriculum choices and all of the subjects that he'll be doing. Yes, we are here, headed to the ninth grade. So let's get started. First up, I have his high school course plan. So I've only filled out ninth grade so far. I'm going to take some time in the next few days to fill out the rest of what I think he should be doing. And how I came to this conclusion is I went to the local high school and I looked at what their graduation requirements are. I also went to my state's Department of Education and looked at what the high school graduation requirements are. And then I came up with a plan of what he is going to do for this school year. So that is the first step, just to make sure that you go to your state's Department of Education, find out what the requirements are. Here's a link to get to the Department of Education to find your state's requirements. And once you look at that, you can look and see what the other high schools around you are doing. It's public knowledge, it's on their website, and you can kind of form what you'll be doing for your high school years. Now, I went to a convention just a few days ago, and one of the number one things that I took from there is that you are creating an educational resume for your child. And that just stuck with me, and that's the verbiage that I want to use and have in my head, because I am creating not just a transcript, but a resume for his high school years. So he has a pretty good idea of what he feels he may want to do. And so with that in mind, his first elective that he'll be doing is called cybersecurity. Now this will be done through a co-op. This class will briefly discuss computer basics and then jump straight into cybersecurity, which is a field that is in high demand these days. In this class, they will discuss phishing emails, network security, web security, malware, computer threats, so forth and so on. They are going to take a very close look at some computer malfunction that happened in 2021 and figure out how to fix it and how it was hacked into. And so this is really, really, really cool. It also mentions in this particular class that they will be using tryhackme.com, and they will dump into a little bit of Minecraft. That's interesting. And they will also look into something called Log4Shell. Now, I have no idea what half of this means, but it sounds pretty cool. And so that will be a class called cybersecurity. That will be one of his electives, because I'm building his resume for what he eventually wants to do. He is interested in a combination of editing, video editing, computer programming, creating video games. So all of that kind of works together in some aspect. He's also looking into some types of engineering as well. And so this class is a point in the right direction. Along those same lines, he will be taking some ID tech classes, and I'm going to add on some other books and resources to make this into a half credit high school elective for him. Here are some other resources and references that we will have in the house, some of which I will have him go through and read extensively, and he can chat with this about his uncle and his dad, that they're just more well-versed in this area than I am. But this one is Engineer Academy. This one is Lift the Flap, Computers and Coding. And I want to say something, don't let a book like this that might seem more for like a middle schooler, or even in these days, right, elementary, don't let a book like this fool you that you can't learn, or your child that's in ninth grade can learn from something like this. It is chocked full of fun information. I think it still speaks to especially his mind, because of some of the graphics and just how fun and the colors and that sort of thing. And there's just a lot of information in here. So don't, push these type of books to the side just because it may look a little bit more on the elementary side. What else do we have here? We have this magazine, Raspberry, and I think you say Pi or PI, all right? And this is a tech magazine that I know that he's gone through a little bit of this with his dad already. We have 2 other books here for point of reference, Coding Games in Python and Coding Projects in Python. He has dabbled a little bit into some computer programming already, and so he does know how to do some small coding. So again, we're a step in the right direction. We have the Consumer Reports 2022, and the purpose of this is for him to, he'll probably look at the auto section as well, but to look at the tech section down here and see what the latest thing is and keep up to date with that. So we do get these from the library or purchase them here and then there for him, and he just loves to go through those books. And then this one, Unity Game Development. He will be taking additional editing classes through ID Tech. You can take ID Tech classes online as well as locally. I hear they're throughout the United States. And lastly, he actually does my video editing for these YouTube content that I create. And so one of the reasons why I did start this channel is to document his progress, also his progress through high school, also for him to edit, and also to share whatever knowledge I come across going through these high school years so that you can have it and you can benefit from it. And so that is his first high school half-credit elective. Now, in the beginning of January 2023, I'll find another course to add to his educational resume so that he can have some sort of other tech-related elective. All right, moving on. We have foreign language, and he will be taking Spanish 1 with a local tutor. I'm just happy that I found somebody to do that for him. This person is from a Spanish-speaking country, and she will be tutoring all of my children. He is going to receive a high school credit for it. It is a high school class. My other 2 will take away and carry whatever information and learning they get, but will not be held responsible for the demand of the high school course. And so that is his next elective. Okay, so for physical education, my son will continue to play basketball, and he loves it, and he's been doing some basketball camps this summer, so we'll continue with that, as well as he and his sisters will be working out with their dad. So for algebra, we have Algebra 1, and this is the book that we'll be using, The Art of Problem Solving, Introduction to Algebra, and he will be taking this class online through Well Trained Mind Academy. I mentioned in the 8th grade video that he did pre-algebra with Well Trained Mind Academy online with a live teacher in a live class or with other students, and it worked so well. You can see that video right here or here. And so we're going to continue with that. Remember that it is okay to outsource some of your subjects, that you may just need a break, or you may not be so well versed in it, and so you want to pass that along to maybe someone in a co-op, or maybe your neighbor is a chemical engineer and they can teach chemistry to your child, or the local high school, or classes online. So remember that it's okay to do that, and remember to budget for it accordingly. This next class we are outsourcing as well. This one has labs, and this is exploring creation with physical science, and it has labs, so this will equal 1 high school credit. This is the solution and test book. Now in the co-op that he will be doing this with, they won't do the testing, I will, and so I'll be doing some tests. They'll do some quizzes and stuff, but it will be just neat for him to be amongst other high schoolers getting this coursework done and doing the labs and that sort of thing. And so I'm excited about that. So once again, don't forget that you can outsource some of this material and make sure to budget for it and budget accordingly. I know that there'll be an extra small fee attached to the science class for the labs, and so we've saved and tucked some money away for that. But there is your math and there is your science for this 9th grade year. So this is his social science, or history if you will, Guest Hollow's High School Geography and Cultures Curriculum Workbook. And you can see here in this next clip a list of the suggested books that he will be reading through. Now, the books that you see listed, he's not going to read every single page. Some of them are literature books. They're all living books, but some of them are literature books, and some of them you read portions of it to go along with the country or the island or the continent that you are discussing at the time. There are video links, there are resources as well, and I will have a detailed video about this alone. This high school geography course needs its own video. The book list is extensive. I will be adding many biblical worldview books to it because we are a Christian family. However, I want my kids to be aware of both sides, what is being discussed out there, and how they can stand up and defend for their faith. So this is Guest Hollow's High School Geography and Cultures Curriculum Workbook. It is very interesting. It's really cool how it's written, and like I said, an upcoming detailed video will be awaiting you to watch here shortly. And if you like what you see so far, please hit that like button and share this with others so that it can be of help. So now we have the one subject that I'm still working on, but I have, I guess, 3/4 of it. And so we definitely are going to be using Worldly Wise, all right? And this is just a sample. It's en route, so I don't have it yet to show you, but we are going to be using Worldly Wise. Many of you are familiar with this. I will leave the details in the description box. And I just feel that this vocabulary is going to be just a great resource for him to add on to his vocabulary, so that once we get to the SAT and the ACT and whatever other tests might await him, he is well versed in that. So we're going to be using that for language arts. We're going to be using Fix-It Grammar. This is Robin Hood. This is the second book after the Nose Tree, and I know I just posted a video about Fix-It Grammar and that we're going to use the newer edition. I just realized that I had these two brand new in my homeschool bin, and I'm going to use it instead of purchasing the updated version. So for him, I'm going to use the Fix-It Grammar Robin Hood, which is the second book in this series. For him, he's going to breeze through this, and so I believe that once we do this, I can imagine that he'll be done with this in a few months, because he likes to he's not going to rush through it, but he likes to complete things. He has a little competitive nature about him. So I can imagine that we will finish this in the next few months. Let's just say by the end of this year, 2022. And then I will purchase the updated version for him in the Fix-It Grammar series. And then it brings me to the other portion of language arts that I need to combine to equal one high school credit. We need another component of language arts. So we have grammar, we have vocabulary. He's going to continue doing phonetic zoo. He's doing well with that, but I need some composition and writing and literature. Now, in the geography curriculum, there's lots of literature to read, but we're not reading it 100%. Like I said, there's bits and pieces of pages, turn to pages 200 to 200 and 15 and read that about the Netherlands, all right? But I need something else, and I'm looking at IEW's structure and style. I'm looking at essentials in writing, and there's a few others that I just haven't nailed yet. So I will come back and let you know what that is. But in the meantime, we do have this. We do have the Fix It Grammar. About once a month or every other month, my son will also do the practice test. Actually, all of my kids with my husband, they will do practice tests. They've been doing some here and there, but we're going to be a little bit more consistent with it. So going to the SAT website and just doing the practice tests that are out there, maybe not the full test, but at least a portion of it, just to get our feet wet in that. We also have Bible. We're going to be doing Faithopedia, which I have a video about that linked right here, or right here, wherever that the link goes, right above. And so there's a detailed flip through of this curriculum by Not Consumed. During our Bible time, we sing hymns, we sing fun old Sunday school songs that I grew up in my old Jamaican church and I teach to them. We have Bible sword drill, we use Right Now Media and all sorts of other things, and I will be doing a separate video on our Bible time. But and we do that together. But we will be starting with Faithopedia. This is the Old Testament, and then we'll dive into the New Testament and adding some of those other fun elements that I mentioned to you. Now, that is our 9th grade year. So we have, as a recap, we have cybersecurity and video editing through ID Tech and some other sources and those references of books that I showed you. We have Spanish 1 as a foreign language. We have basketball as physical education. We have physical science with labs. For social studies, we have world geography. For math, algebra 1. And for ELA, so far we have Fix It Grammar, we have Worldly Wise, and trying to figure out the other component of that. What are we going to add as far as language composition? What are we going to use? Will it be IEW's structured style, or will it be essentials in writing? There's so many others out there. Those are the two that I'm looking at the moment. Now, along those lines, we are going to continue with our life skills, showing him how to cook, taking care of the pool, doing things with dad, painting, etc., etc. We're going to continue that. And I showed you the life skills book that we are using, and that video is linked right here. We will read lots of literature. So in reality, I have lots of living literature that I'm going to have him be responsible for reading. Some of it will be through the geography, but some of it's just books on my shelf. And I just need that writing composition part of it to complete his English 1 grade for high school, or credit for high school. I just don't know which curriculum I'm going to be using. He will continue with typing. We use Mavis Beacon, and we also use NitroType. And we also have some additional books on puberty and growing up and what it means to be a boy in this age. We have some books, so I'm just going to title those Puberty, right? And we will be utilizing that as well. So as I look at my list here and I see everything that I have for my son, and I compare this with the Department of Education and what they require for him in my state, and I see what the local high schools are doing around me, and I know those requirements, I feel pretty confident with the subjects that we have chosen. And like I said, remember that this is an educational resume that you are creating for your child. And even if your child doesn't know what they want to do exactly, that's totally fine. Maybe gear the electives more toward what they are interested in at that moment, so that this can be a fun high school experience for them, and maybe it will craft what they want to do later. Like I said, my son pretty much knows what he wants to do long term, and it might seem a little all over the place to you. So we have gaming, we have video editing, and we have programming, and we have engineering, and we have this and that, but he's been speaking about these things for a while. And I think with the classes that we have crafted for him, he's in the right direction. And so I hope that this is of help to you. I hope that this is of encouragement to you. Very soon, I'm going to be putting together how we are going to write all of this out on a transcript, and how to do it from the beginning of the school year and not waiting. And so stay tuned for that. Please share this with those you know who may have a high schooler as well. And until next time, take care. God bless.